The Schroder campaign will spend about $130,000 to convince Denver voters that she should be returned to Congress for another 2-year term. About half of that will go to advertising. Schroder media advisor Arnie Grossman.
It ain't easy, but we try and do it with a combination of this time, as corny as it might sound, a combination of some music, some images of Pat, great deal of photography we have showing Pat in these situations, and then finally with words, with what we say about Pat. I think third-person endorsements of candidates are important if they're believable.
Part of Schroder's media campaign is a song, Pat's Song. The words are by Grossman, the music by a musician friend of Grossman's.
I'm trying to demonstrate in a brief period of time, just with that short time frame, what we mean when we say Pat Schroder is compassionate, cares, yet will also stand up and fight with the toughest.
Republican Don Friedman's campaign will spend about $150,000 in the general election. Friedman spent about $50,000 in the primary. The message delivered there, Friedman campaigners hope, will carry into the general election too. Political pro Chuck Tyson is running Friedman's campaign. Tyson says Friedman's first problem is raising money because federal laws limit individual contributions to $1,000.
The vast majority of it comes from small individual contributions of $25, $50, $100, and $200 from people who believe that there needs to be a change in Congress or who know something about Don Friedman and believe that he would give good representation in Washington. Some of it comes from the party committees, both here in the state and nationally. Some of it comes from political action committees that have positions that they're interested in and want to support somebody who they think will be helpful in that position. Try to decide how you can best present your position on that issue.
I have to talk to you. I was glad you came in because
tells us what the issues are that people are concerned about. He's got 14 years of public service, so that you don't have any surprises and so that you know some things you can talk about. We say repeat everything you can about.
One of the most hotly contested issues on the November ballot doesn't involve candidates at all. It involves beer and soda pop. There isn't any official historical marker in this old building in the 1300 block of Delaware, but it really is an historic place. A few years ago, a group of people gathered here and organized the campaign that defeated the Olympics. Now the building is housing another group, the people pushing the bottle bill, and they hope to pull the same kind of a political upset.
We're willing to put in about, we've got, you could lose the campaign, but
we're perfectly
okay. But you've got to run, we calculated, you've got to.
'72 when they passed there.
There's no way to tell. They're really in their favor. They're not going to announce them. So as long as the rain.
Millions of dollars are going to be spent in the next couple of weeks for TV and radio advertising and newspaper advertising to convince you to vote for certain candidates and issues. It's up to you now. Go to the polls. It'd seem like a pity to waste all that money by staying home. Dave Minshall, Newswatch 4. This printing press will run full blast for almost 30 hours to produce brochures for one candidate in the general election. The candidate is Democrat Pat Schroder. She's a two-term incumbent. In all, the Schroder campaign is having 140,000 copies of these brochures printed up. But the brochures are only a small part of the total campaign, a campaign aimed at stressing a few basic ideas.
All the trouble in our land, seems like a million wrongs to right. We need someone to take our stand, to give a damn and to lead our fight. We've got someone to take our stand, give a damn and to lead our fight.
Yeah, I wish they would too, because I really think, how many pictures I have somebody. Because this is the time we really think a super big help. Hello, Sylvia, I haven't spoken to you. We're at 30.
We're doing polling to determine the attitudes that people have. That Congresswoman Schroder has voted for the most spending and the most unbalanced budget in the nation.
Tyson has commissioned a series of surveys to determine voter issue interests and opposition weaknesses. Friedman is using a series of newspaper open letters to pinpoint 4 issues: military spending, water for Denver, forced busing, and the federal deficit. Tyson gave me an example of how a TV spot will be used to drive home the message of the open letters.
For example, we want to deal with the issue of government spending and the size of our debt and the kind of problem that creates for future generations. If we wanted to dramatize that in a television commercial, we might have a group of people of various ages, a grandfather in the next generation and a small child standing together, and might show them passing from hand to hand a bill, and have Don or some other announcer talking about the fact that the bills that we create today are being passed on to our children. And say something for effect that Congresswoman Schroder's spending, the buck may stop with her, but the bills don't.
The bottle law requires a deposit of at least a nickel on all pop and beer bottles and cans. The idea is to cut litter and save the energy and raw materials needed to produce new containers by encouraging recycling. This is a preview screening of 3 30-second TV commercials prepared by the Colorado Resource Recovery Committee. The committee is a group of beer and soft drink bottlers and distributors and container manufacturers. The committee isn't revealing how much it's spending to beat the bottle law, but an educated guess is $250,000, maybe a little more. The committee claims the bottle bill will hurt business and will not solve the litter or recycling problem. The actor in the commercials is Will Rogers, Jr.
What makes sense is a litter law instead of a bottle law. Now that's enough to make you want to vote no on 8.
We have a very nice-looking presentation by a well-known man, Will Rogers, Jr. Why did you go with him?
Well, because, you know, his father was really famous for cutting through all the fog and getting right down to simple issues and saying things in a way that were not only humorous, but really hit the point on the head. And we were looking for some kind of means of doing that in this issue, of cutting through all the smoke, getting right down to the bare bones issues.
This is a strategy session of members of SCAT, the Sensible Coloradans Against Throwaways. They think they have right on their side, and they may need it. In a media-intensive campaign, they'll have only a few $1,000s to spend at best. SCAT's efforts so far have been aimed at getting people out to an October 12th fundraiser, featuring Colorado Governor Richard Lamb and Oregon Governor Tom McCall. McCall signed the Oregon bottle bill, after which the Colorado proposal is modeled. SCAT's Clara Lou Humphrey says she hopes the fundraiser can provide the cash to bring speakers from Oregon to push the bill.
The story that they will be telling is that the people of Oregon are happy with it, that business has adapted to it, that litter has been reduced, that energy is conserved, that natural resources are conserved. In other words, all of the things that we have been claiming, someone can come out and say, yes, it really is that way in Oregon, contrary maybe to what's being said by the opposition.